Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about something that happened yesterday. So this is a very fresh, brand new story. And my son asked me what it means to die. I was so thrown off because I wasn't expecting him to ask me this question at 3, right? So I had to answer that question in that moment. And in this video, that's what I'm going to be talking about, how I navigated answering that question and something that happened this morning as a result of, me explaining to him what dying actually means. Hi guys, and welcome back to AKA Mama. If you're new to my channel, my name is Tafara. I'm a Zimbabwean mama bear based in Germany. I have a 3-year-old son that I absolutely love to bits. In this space, I talk about navigating motherhood, raising a child abroad, any wholesome or interesting topic that I deem relevant in that moment. So like I already said, today I'm going to be talking about, my son asking me the question, what does it mean to die? I'm going to give the background information. So when he was still a baby, I bought this book with fairy tales. And it's because as a child, I absolutely loved reading and listening to fairy tales. But it's only when I started reading these stories to my son where I was like, these are a little bit dark. I mean, I'd never really stopped to consciously think about how dark fairy tales are. But I already had the book. I wanted to relive my childhood. And, I started reading the stories. Of course, when he was little, it was just like, stories, mama's voice, soothing for bedtime. But now that he's actually 3 years old, I realized that he's now more engaged. And overall, he's now reached a stage where he's now asking very difficult questions. So it's very evident that, some software update has happened, in the brain. And yesterday I was reading Snow White. We're done with like Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel, Aladdin, Puss in Boots, and like Snow White is the last one that he was like, okay, I want to read the story. So for those of you that know the story of Snow White, of course, the queen is upset that Snow White is more beautiful than her, and she wants to kill her. In this version, and I'm emphasizing that because I know fairy tales slightly differ depending on, who's written it. But, the queen tries to poison Snow White with an apple that's red and green. So she puts the poison on the red, luscious looking side, and she doesn't put any poison on the green side. And when Snow White bites into the red part, she dies. So as I'm narrating this story, I flip over the page. My son is like, nah, wait a minute. He goes back one page and he says to me, Mama, what exactly is poison? Think, okay, how do I give an explanation that's not too scary, but, accurate? And I said, poison is something that can make, poison is something that can make us very sick if we touch it or eat it. So, we should stay away from it. And that's why it's very important to always ask mama or papa before you eat something. Don't just touch everything and put everything in your mouth. I'm thinking, whew, easy. Perfect opportunity to give a life lesson. And then he says to me, okay. And why did the queen only put the poison on the red side? So I say to him, yeah, she put it on the red side because, that's the side that she gave Snow White, and she wanted Snow White to die. Then he asked me, what does it mean to die? Internally, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, SOS, SOS, SOS. I really was not prepared for this question, but I'm a strong believer of answering all questions in an age-appropriate manner. So for me in that moment, that was my challenge of, how do I, answer this question in an age-appropriate manner? So I say to him, when a person dies, they can no longer see, they can no longer smell anything, they can no longer eat, they can no longer move, and they can't hear anything. Their body stops functioning. He thought about it and he was like, okay, I guess that was an explanation that seemed to be palatable. Then he asks me why the queen didn't put poison on the green side. I said, well, she didn't put poison on the green side because she didn't want to die. She wanted Snow White to die. That's why Snow White got, the red side. Fair and fine. I read the fairy tale, finished reading it, everything was good. I'm thinking, whew, okay, brain gymnastics over. This morning, we're about to head out of the house. He has his doll, and his doll's name is Tallulah. This is Tallulah. I see him looking at Talula, and he's looking at her, and he's looking at her, and he's looking at her. You know, I'm doing my morning routine, I'm getting ready, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's looking at Talula. Wonder what this is about. And then he says to me, Mama, Talula is dead. I was so shocked because on the one hand, I'm like, oh no, like this is going in the wrong direction. But on the other hand, I was also very proud of him because he's grasped the physical understanding of what it means to be dead. But then I had to explain to him that no, Talula is not dead. I actually don't remember what I said, but it was very interesting, because I had a shocking but also proud moment at the same time, as a result of the explanation I'd given the night before. So I just found this very interesting. With the latest software update we have so far, this has been the most difficult question that I've been asked. There are so many more that will be coming, and yeah, it's a bit of an effort answering appropriately, but for that one, I give myself a green tick. So he's understood the concept of death, but obviously he hasn't understood the emotional aspect of it. And I feel he's way too young to be able to grasp the emotional aspect of it. So I hope he's going to be careful, with stuff that's poisonous, because he understands the repercussions. I just thought that was an interesting story to share. And I'd love to hear from, those parents or aunties and uncles that have, kids round about this age. What's the most difficult question your child, your nephew, or your niece asked you, and how did you answer it in that moment? I'd really love to see that in the comment section. It can also potentially help me, because whatever that question was for you, I am telling you, I might be confronted with a similar question in the near future. So I hope you guys show up in the comment section. I look forward to reading the difficult questions that your toddlers asked. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and share with your friends or family, especially if you know somebody, right, that has a very interesting child with a big personality, or a child that loves asking questions. I would really love to hear back from, these kind of parents, aunties, and uncles. Thank you so much for listening this far, and see you next time.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.